Dr. Beatty. Oh, can you hear me? Is he
Can
in
you
the
hear me?
hello
I'm
caller?
here.
Are you there?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me? Hello? 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 Can you hear me? I can't hear you. You are. No, he won't.
Oh, here we go. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. I now I can hear. I can hear you
Can you
now.
hear me
Can
now?
you hear me?
Okay, I'm like that. Yeah, I can now. I'm like the devil done got up in here just that quick. Go ahead, request me on the live on the IG too. Request to be in the video
Live on
on
the.
IG. Yeah.
Lord Jesus.
Oh Lord. Okay, there he
Mm,
is.
mm, mm,
You
mm.
go live, Percy Beatty. Let's get all connected here and we going away we go. All right, we in two places at one time. All right, IG, can y'all hear?
Right. I'm gonna
Everybody
shut one
good?
of the vol. I'm gonna shut one of the volumes off.
Okay, so I just need somebody to talk to me. Make sure it's not an echo. Are you getting an echo on your end?
I'm not.
You're not getting an echo?
No.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. Thanks, Isha, for telling us. Doctor, Uncle, what's up, man?
Hey, Marcus. What's
Thanks, Shy, for chiming in. So, man, I mean, how are you? No complaints. Well,
I
that's
have no
good to hear,
complaints,
of
man.
course.
So
So, welcome everybody to Making Music with Marcus G. Morton. I just want to thank you guys for jumping on tonight. We're not going to be before you long. We just going to have a good time real quick and we just going to get on up out of here. This series of lives that I've been doing is just really journaling my musical journey as I prepare to release my debut project. And I'll be talking to all of my writers on the project. And tonight I have none other than the legendary, amazing songwriter, singer himself, Dr. Percy Beatty. So y'all put some hand claps or something on the screen for him. Show him some love tonight. So I first want to just say thank you for being on here, man. Thank you so much.
oh, no problem, Marcus. Thank you for having me, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So let's just dig in. So as I was saying,
I'm I'm gonna change up. I'm gonna change up how I'm hearing you, cause cause
okay, okay.
I'm hearing
Let me know when you're ready.
a. I'm hearing you. It ain't me. So let me change this quick. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
So again, everybody, while we're working through how we gonna work these little technical difficulties out, thank you again for joining us on tonight. This is Making Music with Marcus G. Morton, where we're again talking about my journey as of me releasing my debut project. So feel free to interact. ask questions, all of that good stuff. We're only going to be on here for a few minutes. You good now, Aunt? You straight?
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
You good now? Yeah, I can hear you
Yeah.
now.
Can you hear me? Okay, cool.
You good?
Okay.
All
Yes,
right,
I'm good now.
cool. Let's dig into it. So, Aunt, you are a singer, writer, producer. I mean, you do all things music. All things music. Like, what is your favorite thing to do, or do you have a favorite thing to do?
Oh
Let the
wow.
people know about you.
I probably would say that my favorite thing to do would be the writing and producing part. I don't, you know, I'm not really. Um, I don't have to be upfront. I'm not one of them people that likes to be upfront, anything of that nature. So for me, um, behind the scenes is probably my favorite. Creating
Hmm.
what others get to experience is my favorite thing. Creating that is probably where I find probably my greatest joy. I think it's found there, in the creation of and the producing of and the putting things together that people will eventually see and hear. Yeah.
So, I want for a minute, for you just, and I know this about you as far as how you hate kind of talking about yourself, but if you can just at least let the people know a little bit about you and uh, some of the projects you've worked on and things like that.
Okay. Well, I'm a product of a um, pastor, and my mother was an evangelist, singer, educator. I started in music when I was. Um, I remember in the church starting playing when I was 8 years old,
Hmm.
and um, got professionally involved in music when I was 12.
Hmm.
And professionally meaning, I would do stuff and there would be a check after I did it when I was 12. Um, but my my start in the recording industry and from that level started with Pastor Milton Brunson and the Thompson Community Singers. Very first record was that Jesus is a rock like, and that was the very first record. And from there, we did several other records. But I went from there to Detroit, started working with the Winans,
Hmm.
BB and CC, Love Said Not So, Hold Up the Light, the Winans, Love Has No Color, Marvin Sapp, Marvin's very first solo record, um, Hero. I did that record. Then Not the Time, Not the Place, Grace and Mercy, I Believe, um, Smokey Norfolk, I Understand, Yolanda Adams, Still I Rise, Donnie McClurkin again, Colorado Mass, So Good,
Yeah.
Angelo and Veronica, uh, It's Not Enough. Um, Man, I know I'm forgetting some folks, but
Listen, if you
yeah,
don't name nothing else,
that's
that's enough. So, you guys, let me just say, but let me say to you first, thank you for your contribution to this industry, period. And you are,
Mhm.
you've crossed many genres. It's not that you've just done gospel, you've done R&B, you've done some of everything. So I want to just say thank you for the timeless songs that you've given us over the years. You know how I feel about Not the Time, Not the Place. And it was an honor of mine to even um, salute you by, singing that to you, singing it for you.
Mhm.
So thank you. Thank you. And I'm grateful for the imprint that you've left on my life. Just so you guys can have some background. Um, I hate just calling him Percy because it's Uncle Percy to me. So, um, you know, I have worked, I came to New Life in roughly 2005, 2006. And I mean, we had crossed. paths, just hey, how you doing before, but when I got to New Life is where we really just started, gelling a little more and working together. You get to know me, I got to know you, and it was a dream come true. Like, wow, I'm with Percy Beatty, and you've allowed
Hmm.
me to be in rooms and in spaces that I never thought I would be a part of. So again, I thank you for that too. And now here we are, as I am preparing to launch this project. I called you and said, "Hey, Unc, I'm recording. You got something for me? What you got?" So, talk a little bit about the song that you have. I'm not, I want you to talk about where you were when you wrote it. What frame of mind you were in, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about that song.
Well, you know, I, songwriters are there are songwriters who write from just their ability and their I would say their knack for putting together words with melodies, and
Hmm.
then there are songwriters who write from their experience, from the experiences that they have. And so I can say that 90% of the songs that I've written have come from the experience of living, just living as a man, living as a father, a husband, a Christian, a believer, in this world that we're in. And so grace, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me was written during one of those times when, uh, unlike, well, much like, we all face times when things were challenging, and there were some things that had transpired. And so I learned that the most important thing you can do as a believer is to always encourage yourself in the word.
Hmm.
And so for every challenge, for every test, for every time that I've been um, called out, I would always lean on what the Word of God says. In spite of what I would see, I would always encourage myself. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, because that's what the Word declares. And so that song was really birthed out of that experience, that I had gone through at that time, and where I was and what I was feeling about what had transpired. And you have to remind yourself as a believer. You always have to remind yourself what the word declares about you. Paul declares that we will face hardship and struggles because he did. But the reality is we can take courage in knowing that he overcame, and because he overcame, will overcome.
Hmm.
And so, with assured favor and assured uh, uh, proclamation, we can say, "Surely goodness and mercy." Yeah, I know I'm facing this. I know I'm dealing with this. I know I'm dealing with that. But surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. God's his anger is only for a moment, but his favor is for a lifetime.
Wow, you said so much in that little time right there. Those wisdom nuggets right there. We got Andre Ambrose, also another one of the writers on IG. He said, "What's up?" to us as well. What's up, Dre? Um,
What's up,
let's talk
Andre?
about your lyrical content is nothing to be played with. You're such a lyricist.
Mm.
Um, so again, the name of the song that will go on my record is called "Goodness and Mercy," and I believe everything God has spoken to me. You got to
That's it.
encourage yourself, just like you said. Though trials may
That's it.
come, I won't be afraid. I mean, the song is just full of lyrical content like crazy. And even, with some of the other stuff that you've written, not the time, not the place. This is not the time to give up. And um, in my name, I'll give you peace when the storm is raging. So, just all of those great things that you have um, penned and just have out in the world. You're freaking amazing. So you're a gift to the body. And
Thank you,
again,
man.
I'm honored to call you uncle, mentor, brother, friend, all of those great things. You're amazing. And I just really appreciate what you have. Um,
I'm
what you've done
advanced.
for me, what you've done for me. So I believe we let's see what else have we done. So some of the other stuff that you've done. You recently did well. One of the last things I did with you, we were in the studio with Common. So we did the shy, some one of the songs for the shy. So again, just put me in rooms that I just never thought imaginable. And I've been talking a lot about just how in this industry and when you are setting out to do something great like this, relationships are important. So I'm grateful for the relationship. And talk about that for a minute, like, just even, building relationships and things like that as far as this industry and things like that are concerned.
That is the key. That is the key to everything. It's relationships. Um, your talent will open the door, but it's your relationship that will keep you if your character is in the right place. And it's so important that we understand that relationships are currency. They are
Hmm.
currency. They
Well,
are
let me put that in the chat.
they're assets. They are assets. They are assets to us, and we need to learn how to treat our assets. Um, you know, Making sure that I create opportunities for others is something that I know one of the things that God has called me to do. Um, but He's also called me to be a person who is wise with who I give, being a great steward of who I give opportunity to.
Hmm.
And it's so important because that's a reflection of you. It will always be a reflection of you. And so it's always important to man reach back and to give opportunity to others who deserve the opportunity, who are hungry, who have shown that they are hungry and they want the opportunity. Um, and so it's so important that, again, our talents open up doors. But man, the relationships, somebody can pick up the phone and make a phone call and something can happen immediately. So
Hmm.
relationships are the that's the real currency.
Great. So talk to me a little bit about like what do you have? What would you say to an aspiring writer or other gospel artists out here? Because my project is an indie project. I'm doing pretty much everything on my own and through relationships.
Hmm.
And you remember, the journey leading up to even to the session and after the session and all of that. I did the session. It'll be 5 years in January, and it took some time. So, what do you say to those that may feel discouraged or feel like, man, I did this. I know God gave it to me, but it's taking so long for this to manifest, and it's taking so long for this to happen. I know He told me that this is what it was going to be, and it's not supposed to go this way. I was supposed to have this out already. What do you say to encourage other writers and artists?
I would tell them this: good things, great things take time. You know, if it's meant for you and it's something God has designed for you, the time that it takes for it to happen is not the most important thing. Sometimes we think delay is denied, but it's not. Delay is not denied. Sometimes God has to prepare us for what it is that He has for us. And so that's why it takes a little more time. That's why it takes it takes a little more effort. It takes a little more.
Hmm.
It seems like sometimes God will give you the end of something, but then take you back to give you the experience to go with the end. So when you get there, you can really, really receive and really move in what you need to move in, and the power and the ability, the dunamis, the dynamite
Mm.
that you need to have to be effective in that moment and in that realm that you're in. That's why sometimes it takes a little time. It takes a. I would encourage every artist to understand. Yeah, the vision is for a appointed time. Yeah, I got the vision today. It is. I got the vision now. I want them. Yeah, but you know what? There's some things that need to fall into place. There's some things that you need to prepare for. There's some things that need to happen as you move forward, and you need to allow the proper time. You need to allow the proper moment. You need to allow the proper space for the right things to happen. So when you get there honestly, You get
Hmm.
there with the experience that it took for you to get there. So not only that you benefit, but now you can share with others as well.
Wow. And if I can just be honest, um, as a new artist and kind of doing my own thing, because as because I've worked with you, I've served with many different people, and if you call me and you need me, I'm there with a
You're gonna
check,
be there.
without a check, and I'm gonna come in there. I'm gonna know my music. I'm gonna deliver, and
Mm-hmm.
so let me share that as well. You have to be prepared whenever you walk into situations like that. But going back to what you said, as far as it doesn't matter about time, because I'll be honest, I got discouraged for a little while because
Of course.
right after the session that February, I got laid off. And then, all of the transition and stuff that was going on, everywhere else. And then here it is, I done up and had to move. An opportunity presented itself for me to move to a whole nother state. And here I am still without a record that I did a whole session for. And then you're like, okay, I don't want to be like, all these other people we done did these sessions and all this kind of stuff. And it's just sitting here and we haven't done anything with it. And what did we do it for? And I just, I'm grateful to my wife and to certain people around me that pulled me in, like, yo, it don't even matter. Let's just do what we need to do. It's in God's time. It's gonna happen. And I had to go to God myself, like, yo, what we doing here? But now, as things are moving and progressing, I get it now. In one of
Mm-hmm.
your songs, I
Mm-hmm.
understand. I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
understand.
Mm-hmm.
Why I had to go through what I had to go through to get to this point, to where
Mm-hmm.
we are now ready to launch this thing.
I'm gonna tell you something, Marcus. Let me tell you another reason why sometimes it takes time. Because God allows, if God allows people to do things for us, they will think they made us.
Hmm.
And see, that's why God sometimes allows time, and He will cause there to be what seems like a delay for some of us, because He doesn't want anybody to get the credit for what He's doing but Him. He ain't going to share it with nobody else. So when you get there, you can say, God did this for me, not no man. Not because at the end of the day, yeah, God use people? He does. But He does not want our faith and our total confidence to be placed in people. He
Uh-oh.
wants our
No.
faith
Okay.
and our
You coming
trust,
back.
what He's able to do. Okay, am I there?
Okay.
Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
now you back. Okay. Say that last part one more time. See, the devil's trying to get not give us that word. I want that. I want every bit of what you just said. Finish that last part.
Yeah, no. So what I'm just saying is that we have to understand something. God will take us through allow us to face certain things, only just to get us to have our faith and confidence in Him, Marcus. At the end of the day, if most people could, they would rather say, I did that for Him.
Hmm.
I'm the reason why He's doing it. That's not help. That's not support. That's not how the body acts. That's not how the body was so supposed to respond. You know what? If you genuinely do something for somebody from your heart, it's because the Holy Spirit did that in your heart. But God is
Let's
the
oh,
one who wants the credit.
ooh, let's talk about that. The heart.
Yes.
Ooh, let's talk about the heart. And we don't have a whole lot of time, but I knew this was gonna be good though. Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about the heart. Because heartbreak is a part of the process.
Man, you know, it's it's such a part of the process that sometimes it's because, well, let me tell you what it is. Sometimes it's because God has been trying to get us to move in a certain direction, and we don't
Mhm.
listen, and we don't do it. So what He has to allow to happen, He has to allow a series of events to happen. First of all, to isolate us. That's the first thing, to isolate us. Now, once He isolates us, now He can deal with our hearts. And so now,
Ooh.
once He starts to deal with our hearts, That is the place. That's where the real issues are. The issues
That's where
are
the issues
in
are.
in the heart. So once our heart is broke, he said a contrite heart. When our heart is broken, now we're in a place where we can really hear what we need to hear. Now, I didn't say he broke our heart. I didn't
Mm-mm.
say he did it.
No.
So notice I didn't say that. Our heart sometimes is broke by people we love. It's broke by people we trust. It's broke by people who we have served. But the
Mm-hmm.
reality is, at the end of the day, God has a designed plan, and sometimes we won't move where we need to move. So He has to allow certain things to happen so He can get us isolated, so He can deal with us one on one. Now we're ready then to move into what He's really called us to do. The seasons that we feel like we've been abandoned, the seasons that we feel like we've been
Ooh.
left, the seasons that we feel like uh, 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 everybody's forgotten about what I've contributed and what I've done. No, God hasn't forgotten. He said He's an rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. So if that's what your heart is, if that's where your heart is, don't worry. It may take a little time, but you're going to get there. You're going to get there because He has designed for you to get there. Not, again, total confidence, total trust, and faith in Him and what He's able to do. Now able to Him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ask. I can't get my words right because I'm like
Because
this
it's just
thing
so
is like
good. It's so good.
it's in me.
You didn't
This
stir
thing
me
is in
tonight.
me.
You stirring
This
me up
thing is
real
good.
good.
This thing is good. But I'm saying that because your journey is much like my journey. So, isolation, cast away,
Mm-hmm.
forgotten,
Mm-hmm.
all of these things, right? But
Mm-hmm.
yet I still have a heart to serve. Yet I still
Still.
have still have a heart to want to be a part of the mission of the all of these things. But guess what? That's what God promotes. In your broken state, that's what He promotes. He's not in the business of promoting gifts anymore, Marcus. He's
Say it one
promoting
more time.
hearts.
Don't say nothing else. Don't say nothing else. Say that one more time. I want them to get that.
He's not promoting he's not promoting gifts anymore. It's
Somebody type
hearts.
that in the chat for me, please. Somebody type that. He's not promoting gifts anymore. He's promoting hearts.
Cuz see, the gifts the gift comes. A gift.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got a gift. Everybody, those in the church and outside the church. But the reality is that He's not promoting gifts. He's promoting hearts.
Okay. So let's go here. With COVID, everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
Everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
So with that statement that you just said, God is not promoting gifts anymore. He's promoting hearts. How do you think um, how do you think that fits into where we are now? Because for me, the playing field has been leveled for everybody. So everybody, like you said, that has a gift, everybody out here trying to get it out here, do it, do this and the other. Speak to that for a second. Speak to that.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. So the playing field, you're right. The playing field is leveled. It is leveled. We're all in the same boat with the same oar. We all
Hmm.
in the same boat, same oar. But here's the thing. It's not about it's not about a pulpit anymore. It's not about the size of my church. It's not about the size of it's none of that. And the reason that I think things we have to look at things differently now is because COVID made us understand that some of our affections were in the wrong place.
Ooh.
Some of our affections were in places that had no eternity attached to it. That So why would you have your affection attached to an eternity, to something that doesn't have an eternity attached to it? That means it's something that will eventually die, something that would eventually leave, something that would eventually go away. So why would your affections be attached to that? So, we want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want the platform, we want all of these things, but we don't want God. How could you want all of these things and not want God? Because He is forever, He's eternal. So you have to want what's eternal. What we do, what we do has to have a redemptive factor and a restoration factor. Redemption of man and the restoration of all things, Marcus. That's the Bible.
Oh my God. You have blown me away on tonight. My God, today. In case some of you don't know who this man is, this is the Dr. Percy Beatty. So, how have you been coping during this season? What's next for you? What's going on with you, um, Teresa, and everybody else? What's going on?
Man, well, it's been a time of reconnecting with family, reconnecting, man, with ministry purpose, reconnecting with what God's intended plan for me is, and what it was, and what it is, and what it continues to be, and really trying to focus on that, because in this day and time, if you're not doing what God has called you to do, then I think you are basically positioning yourself to lose,
Hmm.
and to consistently feel like you got to start over and start over and start over, and it should be a time as you mature that you don't start over, and if you are starting over, you're starting in a new chapter. It's still the book that you're supposed to be in, but it's a new chapter. And so for me, I'm sharing my journey, this journey I've been on for the last year, what transpired with me being diagnosed with prostate cancer, beating cancer. How did I beat it? What was my state of mind? What did I tell myself? How did I speak to myself? How did
Hmm.
I handle it? How did I deal with it? So I'm telling my story in 28 days. It's called 28 Days. I have an EP coming along with a book and along with a movie, a mini documentary called 28 Days. And it's based on my process and how it shaped and helped to shape what God's intended purpose for my life was from the beginning. I always knew what God intended for me to do, but not fully. But now it's totally been revealed, and I understand it. I get it. um, and I'm ready to share it. I'm ready to share with men. I want to say to all my African American men who are on here, 35 older. I know they tell you, prostate cancer, you don't need to go for a PSA until you're older. No, don't listen. Go at 35. Go when you're younger, because African American men are being affected. It's a number. Prostate cancer is the number one killer of African American men, and they're finding out now that young men are being diagnosed much earlier now. And early detection is that's preventative. It is the one thing that we need. So I would encourage you. They caught mines at an early place. Even though I'm a little older, they caught it at an early place. But there was still a journey that I had to go through. There was still a battle that I
Hmm.
had to face. And the battle was both spiritual, it was physical, and it was mental. And so I just want to share with people, how do you deal with that? How do you deal when you are giving a sentence that you didn't ask for and you wasn't looking for? How do you face that? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that when you know, God, I've written songs that talk about you. I've encouraged the world. I've tried to encourage people. I've tried to be the best. How do you deal with an assignment that you didn't ask for, and a diagnosis that you didn't ask for, knowing that you lost your mother from cancer when she was 45,
Hmm.
lost your brother at 28. So how do you deal with all that? How do you deal with it? So now my mission is to encourage the body, encourage people, period. How do you face and deal with these things? And it's a process, but it's a process, man, that will get you through in a way that nobody will get the glory but God.
Wow. And so when should we expect 28 days?
28 days is probably going to come now, due to COVID. We hadn't planned to drop it in the fall. But if it's not the fall, it definitely will be, next year,
Okay.
probably spring. But it is a project that is, Marcus, I believe it's and I don't boast, and I don't do that, but it is
I know you
absolute
don't.
the best thing I have ever created. It is from on high. It is God inspired. It is powerful, and I'm so excited about it.
That's that's huge. I'm super proud of you. Thank you for sharing a part of your journey, um, because you didn't even tell us at first, and you, my baby's goddaddy, and
You're
we
right.
didn't know.
Hey, look,
So,
I was trying to, I was trying to, I was trying to, when you get that kind of thing happens to you, there's several things that happen, and trying to do ministry while that's happening to you, that's a tough thing to do,
yeah.
because mentally now you're dealing with your mortality. You're
Hmm.
dealing with your mortality, man, and so I had to get to a place where I accepted that this is what I had it, but it didn't have me. That's where I had to get.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I had
All
to get
right.
to a place. Yeah, yeah. But Marcus, before you go any further, I want to salute you, man. I want to publicly salute you for your commitment to serving in the face of adversity, for serving in the face of being forgotten sometimes, for serving in the face of sometimes, man, walking away needing things that people knew you needed, but just did not say anything or attempt to do anything. So I want to encourage you, man, tonight publicly and tell you God does not forget your labor of service, man, to the saints. He does not forget how you serve without asking anything. You're right, man. When I've called you, you've never put a price tag on it. You never said what is. All you said was, what we doing? I'll be there. What time you need me there? I'll be there. What is it you need me to do? I'll be there. Blessings upon your project, and I pray everything that you need to complete and finish this, that it is met, and not over time. I'm talking about swiftly, that is met, man, and that God gets the glory from it.
I receive it. Um, yeah, you kind of broke me down tonight. Cool. And let me be very clear to the people. When you call, it didn't matter what
Okay.
time you called. We've had
Nope.
some sessions that we
Midnight.
it will, well, meet me at the studio at
Sometimes late,
11:30.
sometimes early.
Wow.
Right.
I
Right.
I received that
With a family.
with a family. And again, huge shout out to my wife, Tiffany. She's on here. I couldn't do what I do without her support. And and the kids and things like that. And like I said, there's definitely some needs that need to be met, but I still believe God to do it. I'm moving forward and just, I'm like, well, we're going to do what we need to do. We'll figure it out. This is God's problem. I'm going to do my part and I'm going to let him do the rest. So I definitely received that. Um, thank you, Aunt. Thank you so much. So tell the
Oh,
people where they can
man.
find you.
Okay. Well, I'm on Instagram. It's Percy _Beatty. I'm on Facebook as Percy Beatty, and Twitter as well as Percy Beatty, and just also have a curriculum that I'm teaching now, songwriting. That's something I'm so passionate about. Marcus is teaching the next generation of storytellers, and so I have penandpad.com, which is all things songs, and where I do there's a curriculum masterclass. There's some one-on-one stuff that I do, and so that is something that I'm very passionate about as well, man.
Awesome. Well, we definitely did this a little longer than anticipated, but it was a God moment, so I'm grateful for it.
Amen.
um, so again, everybody, this is Making Music with Marcus G. Morton, as we've been talking about my journey to release my debut project later on this year, and be Dr. Percy Beatty has one of the songs on the record called Goodness and Mercy. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. It's coming soon. But in the meantime, in between time, you can go right to iTunes, Google Play, YouTube Music, all of that, and grab the two singles that are out there from the record right now, which is Sovereign, which was written by Andre Ambrose, and Mighty and Great, which is the title track, the single and the title track of the entire project, which was written by yours truly. So I do want to say again, you've left a huge imprint on my life. I'm grateful for the connection and for the bond that we have. Thank you for taking time out to be with me on tonight, just to, share words of wisdom and just support. And I appreciate it more than you know. And as we get everything done, I'm going to bounce it off you anyhow. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
but
And
yeah, so
let me know, Marcus, if I can do anything to assist with completing it. Let me know what you need, and let's just see what can happen.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call you when we finish this, and I'll tell you.
Okay.
But
Okay.
join me again next week. Just be watching out on my page and all of that. If you have not already, please go to Marcus G. Morton Ministries and like my artist page, my ministry page. Meet me on Instagram at Marcus G. Morton as well. And next week we have another one of the writers, and can't wait for you all to see who that is and to be able to share another part of this journey. But to Dr. Beatty, thank you again. And we'll be talking very soon.
Love you, bro.
I love you more.
Yes, sir.
Thanks
Love you, man.
everybody for
All
joining.
right.
And we'll talk to y'all again. Please share this and share this, for any other aspiring artists. Y'all need to watch this. So please take a look at it and share it. Love y'all. Good night.